Currently in its 19th year, Rooftop Films, the outdoor film series, seems to be everywhere this summer. There's over 40 nights of indie film, live music, parties, Q&As, all outdoors. Striking venues include Elevated Acre in the Financial District, Socrates Sculpture Park in Long Island City, and Industry City in Sunset Park. Coming up in the next couple of weeks alone, they're showing several evenings of short films, including one program called Hijinks, another New York nonfiction. They've got features including Zachary Treitz's Civil War film Men Go to Battle, Sean Baker's Tangerine, shot entirely on an iPhone, and Kalikala's stunning documentary Field Niggas. And if that weren't enough, there's a podcast about indie film right on their website, I understand. We'll hear a lot more in just a moment, but first let's look at Rooftop's 2015 trailer.
Laser Raptor.
Know what it is? You're breaking up with him.
Well, should I try it again?
I want to welcome to the studio this morning the guy who's in charge of putting all this together, Rooftop's program director, Dan Nuxel.
Yeah.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
How's your summer treating you?
It's going all right.
Yeah.
Not too bad so far. We're in week 4. I guess entering week 5 of the summer series. So we started back on May 29th. We go through till August 22nd, and yeah, things have been great. We've been dodging the raindrops and mostly avoiding too much of the bad weather, and crowds have been great. Everything's been a lot of fun.
I mentioned a couple of blocks of shorts that I think may have already even occurred in 1 or 2 cases, so I'm sorry about that. And I also want to mention that great trailer was directed by Mark Elijah Rosenberg.
Mark Elijah Rosenberg, yeah, Rooftop's founder. So Mark still works with us. He's finishing up his own feature film, so he's not full-time with Rooftop right now, but he helped program the shorts and he directed that trailer.
Well, it doesn't seem like you guys have missed anything, because this year is as robust as any other year, right?
Yeah, we're really, we're thrilled with our programming this year, and love the movies that we've got selected.
So what are some of the things coming up? I know I mentioned also like Tangerine, Field Niggas, two really stunning films. Another favorite of mine that I sort of shamelessly been hawking and championing is Krisha, which I mentioned, which was just at BAM Cinema Fest and is also going to be coming up later in the summer. What's coming up, though, in the near future that, even this week maybe, if there's
we've
stuff
got
people can get tickets for? We've
got, between 3 or 4 and sometimes 5 shows a week throughout the summer, so we've got plenty of stuff coming up. We've got a screening actually tonight out in Industry City, a film called Fresh Dressed, which is a new documentary about it's about the early years of hip-hop fashion style clothes. And we've got 2 screenings that we're doing in partnership with River to River, the River to River Festival. So there's 2 screenings, one at Liberty Plaza and then one at Pier 15 in Lower Manhattan. That's Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Friday, we've got a really wonderful documentary called Sam Klemke's Time Machine, which is about a man who had a difficult and somewhat strange life, but he documented video and in film pretty much his entire life from his early adulthood. So this is kind of a sprint through his life and all the documentation of that. And so we've got that on Friday, and we'll have the main subject, Sam Klemke, will be there for that.
Yeah, I mean, the typical evening or event, I should say, is you show up, you got a music act always, right? You have somebody specifically who is curating that experience, right? Then you have the screening, or sometimes short, no, just the screening, and then followed by a party. So it's like a real full evening every event. You can't go wrong with just taking, even if you're not familiar with the film, it's a fun evening out.
We like to think that, yes, you can enjoy a Rooftop Films evening even if you don't like the movie.
Yeah.
But usually you'll like the movie.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. Like, how can you be so confident about that? I mean, because where are these films coming from? How do you guys arrive at? You've only got like 30 features. Is it that many?
Yeah, it's 30.
Okay, plus short blocks and all that we know about. And then there's usually even a couple of maybe bringing in some old, vintage films, or not vintage, but classics, let's say, that you screen throughout the summer as well.
Yeah,
right?
well, we've got we've got a programming team which consists of at the top myself and our new programmer Holly Vogus, who just started with us recently, so we're going to each watch many hundreds of movies, going through picking out the best. And to be clear, what Rooftop mainly focuses on is new independent films, so movies that might have screened at one or two other festivals around the world, but they haven't yet opened theatrically. And they haven't yet opened in theaters. So some of the films that we're going to be showing are movies that we've seen at Sundance or South by Southwest or Cannes or Toronto previously. And others are ones that were just submitted directly to us, and movies that found their way into our mailbox. And we go through about 3,000 films total to select a total of 30 features and about 125 short films that we show throughout the course of the summer.
30 films from roughly 3,000, which is between submissions and films that you're soliciting, right? So 1%.
Yep, yeah, that's about right.
Roughly. Okay, that shouldn't discourage anybody. If you're a filmmaker, by all means, you should feel like if you've got a great film that you should be trying to get it into Rooftop. And how much emphasis do you put on like premiering a film? Whether it's you might have world premiere, New York, U.S. premieres, New York premiere, or Brooklyn premiere, or.
Well, one of the things that we really focus on as an organization. This is our 19th year, and right from the very beginning, our focus was always on supporting the filmmakers, but also on really providing a great experience for our audience, and showing movies that we really think should be seen. Some of those films might be films that have distribution, but all the films that we're including in our main part of our summer series are all independent films that are not going to get any extremely wide distribution. We've had a couple of films that have come through that have gone on, like Beasts of the Southern Wild, which reached, made
don't know that one.
$15 million or something like that. But
Oprah,
every now and then,
Oprah endorsed.
Yes, Oprah endorsed. There are a few films that will really reach a wider distribution, but most of the movies that we're going to be showing are films that, even if they're very successful, are still reaching a relatively limited audience in terms of just raw numbers of people. And so for that reason, our focus is always upon showcasing those movies that need our help to get the word out, and really providing a great experience for our audience. So we're less focused on premiere status than some festivals. Some festivals will only show you a movie if it's a world premiere or a New York premiere. Some of the films that we've shown might play at BAM Cinema Fest, for instance, or might have played at Tribeca. And most of them are not world premieres, but we're still providing a really, as you mentioned, a unique experience.
Sure.
The screenings are all on rooftops.
It's really a spectacular, especially if everything works out, like the weather. I know can sometimes you might have to delay something but the weather fortunately has been really great this summer. And people can go to rooftopfilms.com to get the whole calendar. You can I would subscribe to the newsletter, because then it comes right to your email inbox, and you can and
Facebook
subscribe
also
to the
works.
feeds,
Twitter works.
All of that stuff, and you'll be never never have to worry about if you're missing something at Rooftop Films. And what the venues are primarily Industry City, which is a quick ride on the R train down to 30.
The N or the R or the D all go there.
All go there. That's one of your major venues now, right?
Yep, we do about 15 screenings at that location.
That's a
We've
lot.
got 7 this year at the Old American Camp Factory in Gowanus in Brooklyn, as well as
People now know that as the place across the street from Whole Foods.
Yes, that is AKA, that is the alias of the Camp Factory now, unfortunately. And yeah, we've got a bunch of other Brooklyn spots. We'll do screenings in Fort Greene, Williamsburg, and various other spots, but also in plenty of screenings in Lower Manhattan. We've got a screening on a really beautiful roof. Our screening of Tangerine is on the roof of John Jay College in Midtown Manhattan. And if you've never been to that roof, I recommend you come check out Tangerine, which is a fantastic film in its own right. But it's a really beautiful, beautiful spot as well. It's a rooftop garden with grass and everything up there.
Nice.
And it's a gorgeous spot.
I hear everybody's going to have to watch the movie on their iPhones. Is that a false?
That's not true.
That's not true. Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? Let's squeeze in. I know this is winding down, but let's talk, just to mention also the scholarship, because I mentioned Krisha a few minutes ago. That was a short, right? Last year, and now the filmmaker has made it into a feature film, which is stunning. But talk about was that a product of a scholarship?
Yeah, it was a grantee, and we have something called the Rooftop Filmmakers Fund, which is. It's eligible to any filmmaker whose work has shown with Rooftop previously. They can apply for grants to Rooftop Films, and we support their next film, both features and short films. And so Trey Schultz, who made Krisha, he had shown the short film version of that film with us. We had supported his feature film. Also, another film this year, Men Go to Battle, was another one that we'd shown a couple of Zach's shorts previously, and then we gave a grant to the feature, and are thrilled with how it turned out. It's really, really amazing and unique film, and that's something we give out about 10 to 15 grants each year, and there's a bunch of grantees that are coming along soon that we're really excited about too. One film called Mediterranean, which premiered at Cannes a few weeks ago, which is really, really an amazing film as well. And yeah, there's plenty of great ones coming through.
Well, you guys are obviously giving back, and you're championing a lot of the independent film culture. So that's fantastic. Thank you. Again, you can visit rooftopfilms.com, right, and go to my podcast. Oh no, it's not what I meant. Go to your calendar events. I'm just kidding. Go to the calendar events, and honestly, even though you've been doing this for 4 weeks, it's barely just getting going.
Yeah, it was plenty.
Lots of
We've
stuff.
still got about 25 more shows to go. So
fantastic. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much.